Shape of Dreams is already inching towards roguelite royalty. This crackling debut by fledgling Korean studio Lizard Smoothie arrives in peak fighting shape, offering an elaborate action RPG architecture with MOBA-inspired movement and unusually sharp player-first design touches. In these early Silksong days of September, don't miss out on what's sure to become one of the year's best roguelites, thanks to its strong fundamentals and brilliant co-op gameplay quirks. When I spoke with game director Eun Sep Shim back in July, he offered few hints about the game's imminent launch. All I knew was gleaned from countless hours on Shape of Dreams demo and prologue editions, pre-release vertical slices, which were free to download and rich with content. As a result, I'm less outright surprised by the quality of the game itself, more so just gratified that the studio eschewed early access with a meaty V1.0 launch that feels feature complete, yet still open to updates down the line. Now that my raid crew can boast reliable boss clears, I'm better able to articulate Shape of Dreams' beguiling energy and superb game feel. Even with a hardcore, numbers-heavy action RPG under the hood, its assortment of spells, responsive movement, and range of permanent unlocks grant it that seductive pick-up-and-play accessibility, even for those less fond of ARPGs like Diablo or Torchlight.
Dive into the rapids. Shape of Dreams' narrative isn't the star feature, but it's colorful and unobtrusive, granting fun context to its luminous worlds and heroes. As a traveler, players set off on a journey through Dreamland, the Rapids, to take down the First Dreamer, a powerful deity at its center. To do so, you'll venture through a series of gleaming node points in each biome, trounce bosses, and tweak your emergent toolkit of powerful spells, dubbed memories, along the way. A sizable suite of 8 unlockable characters recalls familiar RPG classes like Distance DPS, Melee Focus Tank, and Support Buff, as well as hiding some stranger tunes to discover over time. Aside from the key spells tied to each hero, each has an upgradable selection of stat buffs as meta progression, utilizing a constellation system that prods experimentation and even allows multiple loadout saves. What's further surprising is the fluidity of the game's essential structure, primarily in how it prioritizes multiplayer while remaining, by and large, a viable and substantive single-player experience. That's a tricky gambit to navigate where even some of my favorite games stumble. But the nuanced difficulty scale and flow in Shape of Dreams is such that each run feels surmountable and fun, regardless of the player count.
Spell choices aplenty, especially in co-op. You'll start by picking a hero and donning any of their garnered cosmetics, then equipping a pre-slotted identity, ultimate, and starter memory. Identity memories are your daily driver primary attacks, like a melee swing or simple projectile, whereas long cooldown ultimates and standard starter memories can be freely swapped out with anything you find in the field, and there's a lot there to find. 115 memories at launch translate into impactful, frequent choices that will have you chin-scratching over each reward. Should you opt for a leech memory that heals you and your party, or a strong destructive meteor that can mistakenly harm allies? Go all in on close quarters options and shield spells, or build towards a feisty glass cannon who avoids the front lines? Melt an already upgraded memory into Dream Dust just to see if this new lower level one better complements your build? You'll feel spoiled for choice at each vendor and memory font, but multiplayer expands that possibility much further. Players can swap memories and memory-boosting essence gems between each other at any time, or even share gold and dream dust, with the latter used to level up both skills and gems. A communicative group will find themselves endlessly theory crafting to maximize synergy potential and balance, which encourages camaraderie with your fellow lizard wizards. Even playing solo, the freedom to swap out your build at will handily solves the sluggish early-game blues found in some other roguelites, with Shape of Dreams anticipating this sense of agency with a well-tuned challenge at normal difficulty and above. Later biomes and optional mutators make for screens packed with enemies and particle effects, so expect to spend a handful of hours learning how to read through that noise.
Synergies upon synergies.
If Shape of Dreams has any practical downsides, they're primarily to do with the specific core genres it's riffing on and the eventual reveal of all of its spells. Make no mistake, there's an ample assortment to find and unlock, But after discounting the character-specific loadout memories, you're left with approximately 75 spells and 76 essence gems. That number becomes more impressive when you realize how drastically some gems alter memories in practice, adding triggers, modifiers, bonus attacks, and other creative effects. The trend is always additive, and with 3 gem slots per memory, that's a lot of chaos to tinker with. But it can still be a little irritating to spot the same unwanted spell 3 times in a run, grinding it to dust every time. Regardless, combining these spells and gems with the game's 8 heroes will keep a 4-player crew happily busy for countless hours. You'll end up more preoccupied with the random room curses, sudden elite rolls, hatred quests, and the ever-present hunter system. Multiple avenues on which to test your presumed golden build before it's humbled by surprise threats.
Dealing with those pesky hunters.
If hunters didn't exist, Shape of Dreams would be far too easy. Hunters essentially chase players through the map, corrupting nodes and destroying wards. Fashioned after the Rebel Elite in FTL, hunters are uber-elite enemies who only change nodes after players do, but they can cut paths off, scare away vendors, overtake desired treasures. It's a fundamentally fair system, with Hunt even able to be temporarily defeated, though that's not possible when their threat level ratchets higher. More so, with careful map planning, there's virtually no reason to encounter them in most situations, even if it's fun to convince your party that, hey, actually stomp those guys this time. This map pressure, like Shape of Dreams' other mechanics, aligns perfect with the rest of its rules. This is a game that aims to make you feel like an ARPG power fantasy reborn every run, reminiscent of all-timer The Binding of Isaac in one important way. It promptly answers most build synergy questions with a resounding yes.
Easily one of the year's best roguelites. In my estimation, Shape of Dreams responds to virtually every checkbox wish list for the contemporary roguelite fan. The intricate spell and upgrade system is deep, easy to understand, and consistent, feeding into every run's arc of difficulty, never feeling unfair or overtuned. The sound design and special effects are outlandish but readable, and levels load quickly on a good rig, with the pace further helped along by the complete absence of needless forced cutscenes or overlong animations. Even just the core RNG systems on their own seem to have been polished to a shining gleam. Moreover, Shape of Dreams' pure game feel is excellent. The product of developers as fans integrating the reactive aspects of their favorite MOBAs and ARPGs. I'd single out the game's critical hit prompt as an example. A terrific screen-shaking slow-mo effect that is eminently satisfying even after it procs for the 100th time. I'm certain that Shape of Dreams will find its fans and treat them right, because roguelite debuts are rarely as content-rich, mechanically deep, or stable as this one. There's even drop-in, drop-out co-op, a remarkably rare multiplayer boon. And if, for some reason, there are no new spells or gems or heroes to come, I'd call this Day 1 collection more than enough to melt through dozens of hours merrily. Build crafters and co-op teams, rejoice! You've just found one of the year's best roguelites.